Well, I know I'm a little late on this, but it happened again. The Saints choked once again in the playoffs. Who would have thought, right? 4 straight years that this shit happens. Um, the Saints lose to the Bucs 30-20, even though we beat them twice, destroying them both times. First time 34-23, then the second time 38-3, and then we lose 30-20. There's so many things wrong with this game and just with this everything in the big picture. I don't even know where to start. The reason why I did not post a recap like the second after the game, I honestly was not even thinking about it after the game. I was just like in disbelief that we really went out like that, you know. Because the thing with this game, right? Obviously, it's the end of the season, but that's not like normally when you lose in the playoffs, it sucks because there's no more football for your team. Like it's the season's over, but it's not just the season. It's a lot more than that. This team that we've built from the time period that I look at it as is from 2017 to now 2021 or well 2020 season, where we've had all these great seasons, 11 wins, 13 wins, 13 wins, 12 wins just to come up short in the postseason every year. It's the end of that team that started with that draft class back in 2017 with, Lattimore, Kamara, Hendrickson, Marcus Williams, all that. That era, that team is over. And it gets worse. It's not even just that. Not only is that great team not done, there's going to be pieces that stay, but everything's going to be a lot different next year. It's the end of Drew Brees, too. There were reports going around before the game and a few weeks ago too that it was all but confirmed that Drew's done after this year. Now I know we all kind of knew it, but it's just different when you know it's over. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does. Now I'm not gonna lie, I didn't exactly expect to win this game. This is a game that the Saints should win. I'm well aware of that, but if you're a Saints fan like me, a diehard Saints fan at that, you know that this team likes to beat itself and come up short in the postseason, and that's what happened, really. I mean, this game was more about what the Saints didn't do than what the Bucs did, in my opinion. I mean, this game literally has one key to it. That's why the Saints lost. The Saints had 4 turnovers. 4. The Bucs had 0. And the Buccaneers scored 21 points off of turnovers. The fourth one was the only one that didn't score off turnovers on. But the thing was, they didn't score off of that turnover because the game was over. They were chewing the clock. If the game wasn't already over by that point, they would have scored again. Now, I don't know whether or not I want to go quarter by quarter here on this recap. I'll just go by stats. Go by, I guess, each player. If we look at the stats, Drew Brees was 19 of 34, only 134 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 3 interceptions. He had a quarterback rating of 38.1. Yeah, this is tough to go out like that. This could have possibly been the worst game of Drew's career. The only other one that you can really maybe compare to was that one game in 2012 when he threw 5 interceptions against Atlanta. But I don't think even that was as bad as this because the thing was, he still threw for like 300 yards in that game. Drew barely threw. He'd even throw for 150. He averaged 3.9 yards a pass. And then Jameis Winston was 1 for 1 for 56 yards and a touchdown. He had a perfect 158.3 rating. Now, I know he threw 1 pass, but still, I mean, that's just crazy looking at Drew having a 38 rating and then Jameis having a 158.3. Perfect passer rating, by the way. See, that was bad. Kind of had a feeling it would start to be one of those games whenever the Saints had that 3-and-out on the defense of the first drive, right? And then Deontay Harris had the big punt return that put the Saints like the 20-yard line, and we settled for a field goal. And then the defense went back out there, got another 3-and-out, and then the Saints settled for another field goal. I mean, this reminded me of the start of the NFC Championship game back in 2018 when the Saints had that interception from DeMario Davis and took another field goal. And instead of starting off 20-0, 21-0, it was just 13-0. And then the offense stalled and let the Rams get back in the game. That's kind of what this is. Not only did we settle for field goals to start, let them get back in the game, but then you saw the Saints start to turn the ball over, and also stalling on offense. But most of the stalls on offense was the turnovers. Like I said, 4 turnovers to the Bucs 0. Yeah, that was rough. And Drew's first pick was after those first two drives. And he was trying to throw a floater to Michael Thomas. I don't understand. I'm pretty sure Michael Thomas was running either an out route or a flat route. Something like that. And it just, Drew, I don't know what he was thinking. Thomas was not remotely open. But if he was, at least throw a floater over his head. Like, he just threw it straight to the defender who undercut it. I believe it was Sean Murphy bunting. That was rough. And then the Bucs, I put the Bucs like at the 3-yard line, and then they scored their first touchdown. And another thing in this game, I know I'm kind of going all over the place with this, but I honestly don't give a fuck. That's just kind of how it is right now. I'll start to get more organized later on, but that put the Bucs at the 3-yard line, and that gave them their first touchdown of the game. And the Bucs only scored touchdowns when they had good field position. Not once in this game did the Bucs go the length of the field to score a touchdown. They had 2 long drives in this game, but they both settled for field goals. Like, at halftime, I'm pretty sure we were tied at 13, but it could have been 13-6 if Drew didn't throw that pick. I mean, yeah, Alvin Kamara was 18 carries, 85 yards, 4.7 a carry. We didn't have, not Tom Montgomery, we didn't have Latavius Murray or Taysom Hill in this game, which, I'm not going to lie, kind of hurt us, especially Taysom Hill, because, for one thing, Taysom Hill popped off in both of the Bucs games already this year. But Taysom Hill just brings a lot more to the run game, and it's really good to have a lot of ways to run the ball against the number 1 run defense and not make your 42-year-old quarterback throw the ball all over the place. And as you can see, that didn't really work out very well because he had a 38.1 quarterback rating and threw 3 interceptions. I liked how we handled Kamara in the first half. I'm pretty sure he had like about 10 or 11 carries in the first half, which I was very pleased with. And then that first drive to start the second half, when we received the kickoff, the opening kickoff of the second half, and it was 13-13, we got the ball, we fed Kamara, and I love that. That was, again, that put us, we were marching on the field, everything was going great, and we capped off that drive with the touchdown pass of Traquan Smith that gave us a 20-13 lead, and everything was looking good at that point. We got all the momentum back, and everything was going to be okay. And for some reason, after that drive, we just never went back to him. There were occasions where we would give him the ball maybe once or twice in a drive, but, come on. Why? This dude was literally averaging close to 5 yards a carry against the number 1 run defense. That's insane. That should not... If that happens, you should feed him the ball, especially when your quarterback's playing like this. I'll get to Drew Brees in a minute in terms of big picture and, retirement and all that. Ty Montgomery had 4 carries for 14 yards. I didn't expect him to have too big of a workload in this game because he's Ty Montgomery against the number 1 run defense. So, I didn't really expect too much of him. But anyway, after that first drive in the second half, we scored a touchdown. I'm pretty sure the Saints defense came out there, did their thing. I don't know if they got a 3-and-out, but I know the Bucs had a punt. So the Saints got the ball back. Everything was going good. I remember there was this 3rd and 2. It was either 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2, but it doesn't matter. It was a 3rd down about midfield, and the Saints converted this 3rd down on the slant route to Jared Cook. And the second he catches the pass, I'm thinking to myself, I'm screaming at my TV, just don't fumble. Because we all know Jared Cook likes to hold on to the ball like a... I don't know, but he holds on to it like doesn't give a fuck about it. And then he fumbles. And then that was a turning point of the game. That was a turning point. At that point, the Saints lost all the momentum. The Bucs proceeded to score a touchdown off the Saints' second turnover, which tied the game at 20. Now, I'm going to have to go look back at what happened after that fumble drive. So then the Saints, we punted again. I'm looking at the play-by-play right now on ESPN, the game summary. I don't know what exactly happened this drive, but clearly we didn't do shit. So then the Bucs go down the field, kick a field goal to make this 23-20, and this is about midway through the fourth quarter now. The Saints get the ball back with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We're down 23-20. The game's still within reach. There's a full 10 minutes left. You're down 3. The defense has done what it has done. If you take away the 2 turnovers, the Saints defense has allowed 6 points in this game. And the Saints have 2 turnovers up to this point. Drew Brees, the pick of Sean Murphy bunting, and then Jared Cook's fumble. So then this drive was the one where Drew Brees threw that interception to Devin White intended for Alvin Kamara. I don't know what. This interception was so bad. This reminded me of like when you're playing Madden and you mean to throw a lob pass because you know that if you lob it, then you're going to score a touchdown because, the guy's running like a go route or whatever, so like you keep going. Well, Drew Brees didn't lob it. He threw a bullet pass, and he threw it right to Devin White. He was just sitting down on the route, just sitting on it. So, yeah, that was tough. And then the Bucs scored a touchdown right after that, and that basically was the end of the game. Just from how deep, or just how much in our territory the Bucs were, there was nothing the Saints could do. I mean, it was at this point, it's 30-20, which was the final score of the game. 30-20 Tampa Bay. And we do get the ball back. Now, theoretically, what we expected to happen was Drew Brees to get his shit together somewhat, go down the field, score a touchdown, and then attempt an onside kick. Now, we probably wouldn't have gotten it, but, make the game seem respectable. And usually Drew's good at doing this. He'll have a bad game, but when it comes to garbage time, he'll do his thing. But no, this was the drive when he threw pass to Jared Cook, and he got tipped up in the air by like 40 people, and then it was a pick. And that ended up being Drew Brees' final pass of the season and possibly his career. It was a tip pass intended for Jared Cook. How fitting, right? See, this is a bad loss. This is bad. Not only were you supposed to beat this team, this is a favorable matchup in almost every way. The Saints, I don't care what you have to say. The Saints are a better team than the Bucs. The Saints we played bad in this game. Okay, look, let me rephrase that. The offense played bad. The defense was good. Even though we didn't get as much pressure as I would have liked to get on Brady, they still played good. Tom Brady didn't even have 200 yards. And like I said, both of his all the touchdowns he had were off of turnovers. So the Saints, again, beat themselves. Every year we beat ourselves. It's just, the only reason why this loss even hurts is just knowing that it's the end of, everything. Now, we have a lot of rebuilding to do in the offseason. A lot of coaching staff changes are going to happen. Not like Sean Payton, but like I'm pretty sure our tight end coach Dan Campbell is going to be a Detroit head coach, and I'm pretty sure Aaron Glenn, our secondary coach, is going to be the defensive coordinator for the Lions. There's a lot of we've been so successful over the years. At this point, we can't keep all these great coaches forever. They're going to get their bigger and better jobs, and now we gotta. I don't want to necessarily say restart, but we got to retool. We got to and it all starts with the quarterback. It all starts with the quarterback situation. I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm hoping we keep Jameis, but yeah, I cannot stand if we start Taysom Hill. Oh my God, I don't think I'm watching the game of that. I'm sorry. Now if we for some reason did start Taysom Hill, I love my Saints. All right, I would cheer for him. I would give him a shot. But I don't want to watch him quarterback ever again. I've seen what I've needed to see in those 4 games that he started. He had one good game. You could argue too, but the fumbles, the decision he makes, the way he holds onto the ball, I can't. You could argue, he can develop. He's like 32 already. He's not going to develop any. Okay, maybe a little bit. But he's not developing. Like, at this point, he is what he is. So, yeah, that's, I'm hoping we give Jameis a shot because he's still like 27 or 28. And my thing with Jameis is that I know he possesses the ability to push the ball down the field. Like, you could say, 30 interceptions, all that. Jameis Winston was a 5,000-yard quarterback that very few quarterbacks have done. And I just don't think Jameis Winston was a good fit for Bruce Arians' system, which threw the ball all over the place. And Tampa Bay's offense was literally just exactly an offense where you have to throw the ball 50 yards every play. He had no running back help. He had no offensive line help. He had no head coach help. He had wide receivers, and he did his job with his wide receivers. He threw 30 touchdowns. He threw 5,000 yards. But the 30 interceptions is the problem. But let's not act like Drew Brees was not injury-prone back when he was the entire offense. Now, I'm aware he never threw 30 picks. But my point is that with the Sean Payton-led offense, as much as Sean Payton values ball security, Jameis is not throwing that many picks. It's just not happening. I can't envision a reality where that happens. Jameis may throw now. I think a more realistic interception total is like around 15 to 20 every year, which I'm okay with. If you throw for 5,000 yards and over 30 touchdowns every year, perfect. 15, 20 picks is perfectly fine with me. I don't care. But anyway, back to the game. This is tough. I'm actually going to Drew Brees in his whole retirement situation here. We all knew this was coming. Now, he has not made it official yet, but if you're a truther like me, you know that it's time for Drew to retire. For the sake of his health, because he's gotten hurt the past couple of years and his body's getting to the point where he can't do it, and his arm is almost pretty much done at this point. I mean, you've seen with the Bucs defense. The Bucs defense had no respect for his deep ball, and to be honest, rightfully so. They stacked like 9 or 10 people inside of 10 yards every play, and it worked. It worked. They didn't need to do anything else. Another thing, Michael Thomas, I mean, bro, this dude had 0 catches. He had about 4 or 5 targets, 0 catches. Now, I'm aware he was hurt. And in fact, he's actually getting multiple surgeries this offseason on his ankle because his ankle was just fucking fucked. Ever since week 1, his ankle just, this was not his year this year. It reminds me of the Kamara situation back in 2019 where he had his lingering ankle midway through the year and it just never got better. But Kamara did do a better job managing his ankle injury. But that's not a normal thing, though. You can't expect that of Michael Thomas. He's just... I mean, I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting him to play great through it. But, I didn't expect 0 catches. That's the first time he's ever not caught a ball in a game. His name's Can't Guard Mike, but, he kind of got guarded. Now, he's injured, I'm aware. But I'm just saying he did. Now, I'm very confident that, especially if Jameis is our quarterback next year, Michael Thomas will come out and have a career year, just like Kamara came back and had a career year this year. So I'm not really worried about Michael Thomas. All the people saying, "Oh, trade Michael Thomas," you're an idiot. He's not a locker room cancer. He's none of that. The whole fight thing with Gardner Johnson, to me, you can call me making excuses, whatever. I don't think I am. I think I'm just speaking the truth. I don't think Michael Thomas does a very good job of dealing with frustration. He was just, I think all the frustration with him and his goals this year and what he wanted to accomplish just kind of fed up to him, and just had several moments throughout the year where he got pissed off when he lost his shit. But, I mean, you can't just act like the first 4 years didn't happen. All 1,000-yard seasons, all a number 1 receiver, an offensive player of the year. I mean, I'm not ignoring that, Now, if he comes out next year and just shits the bed and does absolutely ass, then sure, we can talk about trading, or we can talk about, how he's not valuable to our team. But right now, he's still our number 1 receiver. He's still a valuable piece to our offense. He's not going anywhere. Back to Drew Brees, though. For the sake of the team, for the sake of his health, for the sake of everything, Drew Brees needs to retire. He did not come back this season for himself. He came back for us and for the team, knowing that he had a roster that was capable of doing it. Right? And it's time. It's time. He has to go. Now, I'm not saying, I don't in any way think Jameis would have necessarily won this game, but I think you do see more yards out of him if he plays this game. Now, again, this is not Brees slander. This is not Brees slander. This is just the truth. We just weren't winning this game this just wasn't a Saints game to win, all right? It's time for Drew Brees to retire. He's done everything he can for this team for literally 15 seasons. He's been one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, if not the best. But he can't push the ball down the field, especially next year. This next year is going to be his age 42 season. I mean, you can say Tom Brady's doing his thing at age 43. What Tom Brady's doing is not normal. You cannot expect for Drew Brees to do that. I don't know what Tom Brady is taking to have his arms so good still. Not so good, but very good for a 43-year-old. I don't know what he's taking for that to happen, but it's clearly working, and props to him. But, yeah, Drew can't push the ball down the field anymore. he's just not our best option, and especially in the same time with the Super Bowl caliber window is already closing in itself. Even with Drew Brees, I think this is the best time for him to step away. He did everything he could, but it's just it wasn't enough. He got to go. It's tough. Like I said, the only reason why this loss hurts. If this was if this was in 2017 or 2018 or 2019, I would not care. Because, there's always that next year thing. As bad as the no call was and the Minneapolis Miracle was, we still knew, okay, we're still going to have the same roster next year. We'll be good. We have another chance. There's none of that this year. It's over. It's over. So we got a lot of off-season moves to make. I'll be making some future videos on, who we keep, who we cut, what we do with our salary cap, for top free agents to sign. I may even do some mock drafts about, who the Saints should consider picking up. All that off-season shit. Along with, highlights and shit like that I always do. But, yeah, I could ramble on more. I didn't really talk about the receivers. I didn't talk about the defense as much as I wanted to, but I don't think there's a lot to be said about the defense. We all know what they did. They did their thing. Just the offense lost this game, in particular the turnovers. Now, as crazy as it is, I don't really blame. Most people blame Drew Brees because 3 interceptions, and that's rightfully so. But my thing is Jared Cook. The fumble changed everything. You could just tell the energy was off. Now, even though there were only 3,500 fans in that dome, you could tell those 3,500 fans lost all the energy after that Jared Cook fumble. That was just, that was tough. Losing Deontay Harris especially did not help either. I talked about his punt return early on. He did also have a punt return touchdown called back with a very questionable illegal block in the back, I think it was, but it's whatever. I'm not here to blame the refs. In fact, there were a lot of calls that the refs actually were on our side for, surprisingly. As crazy as it is, especially against Tom Brady in the playoff game. But I'm done rambling. I can talk about more about the big picture later on. I talked a lot about the big picture in this, but I only really did that because I posted this a couple days later and some stuff has happened since then. So, yeah, it's the end. No more Drew Brees. No more, this team. The season's over. I don't know when my next video will be. Probably next week. Or at some point in the next couple of weeks, talking about maybe who to keep, who to cut. I think that's probably my next video in terms of, re-signing and stuff like that. I didn't expect to ramble for this long, but if you stuck around, I appreciate it. And I'll be back soon, so see you guys later.